lecture, we will focus on the relationship between our attitudes and our behaviors. But first, attitude is the feelings often influenced by our beliefs that predispose us to respond favorably or unfavorably to objects, people, and events. In social psychology, attitudes are defined as beliefs and feelings related to a person or an event. Thus, a person may have a negative attitude, a neutral attitude, or a positive attitude. Behavior is the range of actions and mannerisms made by individuals, organisms, systems, or artificial entities in some environment. But let's get to the heart of the matter. What is the relationship between attitudes and behavior? Attempts at changing people's attitudes have the ultimate goal of changing their behavior. For example, getting them to purchase a product or go on a date or wear their seatbelts. But how well do attitudes really predict behavior? Consider your own experience. For instance, in anticipation of hanging out with a friend who constantly mooches off you, you might think, the next time Stephen asks to borrow my car, I'm going to tell him what I really think. Yet, when Stephen subsequently and predictably asks you to borrow your car, you toss him the keys with perhaps only a fleeting glance of disapproval. Some factors besides your attitude towards Stephen mooching determined your actions. It turns out that a number of factors complicate the attitude-behavior relationship. First, attitudes don't always predict behavior. Attitudes may not reflect gut-level feelings. And one attitude may be trumped by other attitudes. Next, factors affecting the attitude-behavior link. Attitudes that are directly relevant are better predictors of behavior. Self-representation may mask the influence of attitudes on behavior. Implicit attitudes are better predictors of subtle or spontaneous behavior. And stronger and more accessible attitudes will most likely guide behavior. And how attitudes influence behavior? Well, the theory of planned behavior proposes that attitudes, along with subjective norms and perceived behavioral control, form our intentions, which motivate our behaviors. Attitudes also influence willingness to engage in a behavior, which plays a key role in decisions to engage in risky health behaviors. So let's dive a little deeper in the how, the why, the when of attitudes and behavior. I may repeat myself once or twice just to get the concept through. Okay, so how do attitudes influence our behavior? Well, do we just feel positively or negative about something and then act accordingly? Or is there an intermediary step along the way? One influential theory proposes that our attitudes do not influence our behavior directly, but rather they do so through our intentions. So according to the theory of planned behavior, attitudes are one of 3 ingredients in the intentions that we form. The other 2 ingredients are the subjective norms and perceived behavioral control. So again, attitude is your positive or negative evaluation of performing the behavior. Subjective norms are your perceptions of approval or disapproval of performing the behavior. That is, how much you perceive that others in your life think that a given behavior is good or bad. Finally, perceived behavior control is how much control you think that you have over the behavior, whether you think you can do it or not. These three ingredients combine to shape your intentions, which in turn directly influence your behavior. Although popular wisdom stresses the impact of attitudes on behavior, in fact, attitudes are often poor predictors of behavior. Our expressions of attitudes and our behaviors are each subject to many influences. Our attitudes will predict our behavior first if these other influences are minimized. Second, if the attitude corresponds very closely to the predicted behaviors. And third, if the attitude is potent because something reminds us of it or because we acquired it by direct experience. Under these conditions, what we think and feel predicts what we do. Now, when does our behavior affect our attitudes? The attitude-action relation also works in the reverse direction. We are likely not only to think of ourselves in action, but also to act ourselves into a way of thinking. When we act, we amplify the idea underlining what we have done, especially when we feel responsible for it. What we say or write can strongly influence attitudes that we hold. Actions also affect our moral attitudes. That which we have done, even if it is evil, we tend to justify as being right. Our radical and political behaviors help shape our social consciousness. We not only stand up for what we believe, we also believe in what we have stood up for. Political and social movements may legislate behavior designed to lead our attitude change on a mass scale. So when asked, why does our behavior affect our attitudes? Just remember, there are three different theories that try to explain why our actions affect our attitude reports. First, the self-presentation theory. It assumes that for strategic reasons, we express our attitudes that make us appear consistent. Second, cognitive dissonance theory. It assumes that to reduce discomfort, we justify our actions into ourselves. My next lecture will focus more on this theory. And also, third, self-perception theory. It assumes that our actions are self-revealing. When uncertain about our feelings or beliefs, we look to our behavior much as anyone else would. Now, listen to these words of wisdom by a Greek philosopher about changing ourselves through action. To make anything a habit, do it. To not make it a habit, do not do it. And to unmake a habit, do something else in its place.